today we head out for a dive off the east coast of Trinidad. And the plan today was to make it a short dive just to gain enough fish for ourselves, friends and family, and come back in shore early because this day was actually December the 31st, Old Year's Day. So each one of us had plans for later that evening. Conditions today was quite surprising, and as we arrived at the first spot, things looked very promising. As I head down to the reef, I could hear a lot of CUBERAs making their signature sound. And as I got down on the ground, you could see one of them approaches me, and I got to start off the day with a clean stone shot. CUBERA snapper is actually my favorite fish to eat out of everything, and when given the opportunity to shoot some, I'll definitely take it. This day was quite interesting. I've never seen so many CUBERAs all over the place. I don't know if it was spawning or what, but almost every dive it was just back to back to back CUBERAs. At this point in the day, we had quite a few CUBERAs in the boat, and I actually wanted a dog snapper to go home with. And as I get down here, you will see a decent sized dog snapper right there, but he was too close to the hole, and I just didn't want to chance the shot getting my double flopper stuck in the rock. Then you could also see a big dog snapper in the background, right there floating. And as soon as I saw him, nice CUBERA comes up for a shot. This was actually the biggest one that I shot for the day, and he ended up getting stuck in the hole. I tried to take him out in the same dive, but he was quite wedged very tightly inside there. At this point I realized the best option is to return to the surface, get a nice breathe up, and probably get some help from my dive buddies, because I know that they were around. Just as I expected, right as I got to the surface, my buddies Izaz and Chris was right there waiting, and Chris went down and got him out in one dive.
Nice. You almost didn't make it. I think the back for the area. Take it what he's got. Is that CUBERA? Look at this. Good shots. First spot of the day. And we're getting some quality fish. Hopefully. Not quality shots.
After those CUBERAs, we decided that it was enough CUBERAs from that spot, and there was also enough fish from that spot, so we decided to give it a rest. The next spot, as you can see, was quite murky, but it was very busy with a lot of fish. Although I was seeing a lot of fish, you have to remember that a lot of spearfishing has to do with picking and choosing your shots. And I definitely didn't want to take a shot so close to the structure, as well as such close range, because with the gun that I had and the double flopper spear that I had, that was not a good idea. After exploring the spot for a little while, we encountered a few nurse sharks swimming around, and we actually encountered a little one sleeping under a rock, as you could see. It was at this point I was ready to move spots, but I said let me make one more dive to see what I could land. As you can see, I have a lot of dog snappers zipping around in that murk, but it's quite hard to line up a proper shot, and when you do line up a shot, it's so close to the structure because everything is so close because of how dirty the water is. So I say let me get down to the seafloor, get nice and relaxed, and let me see what actually presents a proper shot worth taking. Eventually a decent sized one shows up and he was actually swimming out in the open, so I made sure to make use of that chance. After shooting this fish, I heard Chris' gun go off, and as I approached him, I saw that he landed the biggest dog snapper that any of us caught for the day. After these two dog snappers, we decided it was time to switch spots and head over to the new spot. As you can see, the water was quite cleaner than this spot. It was very dead, had no fish. So I was swimming right alongside this entire ledge, looking for any signs of life, but I didn't see anything at all. At this point in time, I was pretty much ready to get back up to the surface. Just as I was ready to get back up to the surface, I could see a hogfish approaching me from a distance. The fish refused to turn, so I was forced to give him the unicorn shot.
Yes. That's a big one. Hogfish shish kebab.
So after landing my hogfish, the male, I heard Chris' gun go off, and he actually landed the big female of the reef.
As big as the meal? Yeah, let's head there. More meat.
Left head boy, Siffy boy.
Special head.
Special head, you know the man up? Ever see him?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The man he want mine is YouTube video boy.
Shit. Can't make the cut.
Husband and wife.
We got the caress.
Male and female.
After all that red in the cooler, we decided to go and look for some barracudas. The plan was to shoot 3 barracudas and call it a day, as that would be enough for what we wanted on this day. Our captain Michael dropped us on what he said was a barra spot, and trust me, it didn't disappoint. As I got in the water, I immediately saw schools of them, but just not the size that I wanted to shoot. Being selective, I dove longer halfway to the spot and sized up a few barracudas, but just still found them a little too small to shoot. However, I did see a glimpse of what I thought was a shootable sized dog snapper down on the edge of the ledge. Still seeing a lot of barracudas around, but I know from experience that barracudas are more than likely to stick around, so I was in no rush to shoot them. I then made a return dive to confirm the location and size of that dog snapper, and it was at this point I decided on the fish that I was sure I wanted to shoot. After taking a breathe up, I headed straight down over the edge of the ledge, sized up the biggest dog snapper, took my aim, and got another stone shot. As you can see, the barracudas are still around, just as I expected, and as I got my last snapper for the day, I was now ready to load up on some barras.
Don't put on the edge, eh? Caught passing by the boat. Good way. Dark but clean. Them pag lighting up from far.
This next dive I got along to the deepest part of the spot and lie down waiting. Although I did say I wanted 3 barracudas to take home, I'd rather be selective of the size that I was shooting. A few smaller ones approached me, but not the size that I wanted to shoot. Eventually the bigger one presents itself, and I quickly take aim, pull the trigger, and hold on for a ride. If you didn't hear any last clip, both me and Michael said one more, as the plan was 3 barracudas. I got down to the seafloor around the same area that I shot the dog snapper earlier, and one last barracuda, the same size as the one before, shows up for a spine shot, and that was the last fish of the day. Even after that last barracuda, you see how many there were still swarming around me, and I could have easily stayed there and shot a lot more, but as a spear fisherman, I always try to remain conservative, selective, and set a good example with respect for the ocean. After that last fish, Chris and I stopped in one last spot where Captain Michael said that there are some kingfish passing. We didn't see any, but we didn't worry at all because we planned a specific dive today, dove that plan, and came out successful in the end. We shot all the fish that we wanted to shoot in the time that we wanted to shoot it, and we all got to come back home early just in time for our New Year celebrations.